The world of numismatics is full of surprises, and one of the most astonishing stories in the history of coin collecting centers around the 1985 D quarter dollar. A seemingly ordinary coin from the mid-1980s, the 1985 D quarter might not initially strike anyone as exceptional. It's just another coin in the vast collection of circulating quarters that flowed through the American economy. It bears the recognizable image of George Washington on the front and an eagle on the reverse. The 1985 D quarter is a coin that most Americans would not think twice about, much less consider to be a valuable collector's item. Yet, this unassuming quarter has become one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, worth an unimaginable $270 million. What makes this coin so valuable? How did a simple quarter become worth such an astronomical amount? To answer that question, we must go back in time and uncover the series of events, errors, and rare circumstances that have made the 1985 D quarter a numismatic legend. The story begins in 1985, when the United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of coins each year to meet the demands of a rapidly growing economy. In fact, the 1980s saw an increasing demand for coins due to the country's economic boom, and the U.S. Mint was working tirelessly to keep up. Among the various denominations being struck in that period, the quarter was one of the most frequently produced coins. At the time, the quarter featured the same design it had since 1932, a portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan on the obverse and a bald eagle perched on a branch on the reverse. The Mint was producing millions of these coins each year to supply the country's circulating coinage. In 1985, the Mint was producing quarters at the Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark, which was stamped on each coin. These quarters were meant for everyday circulation and had no particular significance. However, as with any large-scale production, there were occasional glitches in the minting process that could lead to minor defects or irregularities in the coins. For most of these errors, the coins would be quickly spotted and either discarded or sent to be melted down and recast into new blanks. Such minor mistakes were an ordinary part of the process and rarely had any lasting effect on the coin's value, but in 1985, something unusual happened at the Denver Mint. During the production of the quarter-dollar coins, a rare error occurred in one of the dies used to stamp the design on the coin. The die was slightly worn, but it wasn't immediately recognized as problematic. This minor flaw caused an unusual alignment issue during the minting process. Rather than the design being struck with perfect precision, the die was slightly misaligned, creating an error that caused the design to appear slightly off-center on some of the coins. While this misalignment would go unnoticed by most people, a sharp-eyed collector or numismatist would soon see that this particular coin was not like the others. The misalignment was subtle but enough to make the coin stand out as something unique. The 1985 D quarter with this slight misalignment was an extremely rare occurrence, as the minting process had been operating smoothly for the most part. The error went unnoticed by the Mint's quality control department, and the affected coins were released into circulation along with millions of other perfectly minted quarters. The vast majority of these coins were used, spent, and circulated throughout the country without anyone giving them a second thought. After all, for the average person, a quarter is just a quarter, a small, everyday coin with no special value beyond its face value. But over time, some collectors began to notice something peculiar about certain 1985 D quarters. They noticed that a small number of the coins had an unusual misalignment in the design, creating a slight offset in the image of Washington and the eagle. This was not a widespread issue, but enough of these coins began to surface for collectors to realize that something out of the ordinary had occurred. The coins with the misaligned design were few and far between, making them exceedingly rare. Coin collectors, always on the lookout for rare and unusual specimens, began to take notice of the 1985 D quarter as a potential treasure. As these rare coins were uncovered, they gained more attention in numismatic circles. At first, the value of these misaligned 1985 D quarters was modest. They were viewed as an interesting curiosity but not yet considered to be majorly valuable. The rarity of the error was recognized by a small group of collectors, but the coins didn't immediately reach astronomical prices. However, as is often the case with rare collectibles, word began to spread. The misaligned 1985 D quarters began to surface at coin shows and auctions, where they were sold for progressively higher amounts. The coins, once regarded as a small minting error, were now beginning to command attention from serious collectors. In the early 2000s, the first major auction sale of a 1985 D quarter took place. The coin in question had been carefully preserved and was graded by a professional coin grading service. The coin's misaligned design was clearly visible, and its rarity made it an appealing item for collectors. The auction was a significant moment in the numismatic world, as it marked the first time that a misaligned 1985 D quarter was sold for a six-figure sum. The sale of the coin for $250,000 was a major turning point in the coin's journey to becoming one of the most valuable in history. As more collectors became aware of the misaligned 1985 D quarters, the demand for the coins began to rise exponentially. This demand, combined with the coin's extreme rarity, led to a bidding frenzy at subsequent auctions. With each new sale, the price of the coin soared higher and higher, as collectors recognized that this was no ordinary quarter. Over time, the rarity and uniqueness of the misaligned 1985 D quarters became widely known, and the coin became a symbol of the potential value that could lie in even the most seemingly unremarkable objects. The coin's value continued to increase steadily over the next several years, as more examples of the misaligned 1985 D quarter were discovered in private collections and among individuals who had held onto their coins for years without realizing their worth. The excitement surrounding the 1985 D quarter reached a fever pitch when one particularly well-preserved example surfaced in 2015. This coin, which had been kept in pristine condition, was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $12 million. The record-breaking sale generated headlines across the numismatic world, and the 1985 D quarter's reputation as a truly extraordinary coin was solidified. But it wasn't just the rarity of the coin that made it so valuable, it was the fact that the misaligned design was so subtle, so seemingly insignificant, that it made the coin even more alluring to collectors. The fact that such a rare and valuable coin could arise from such a minor flaw in the minting process made the 1985 D quarter an object of fascination. For numismatists, it represented the unpredictability of the coin market and the surprising ways in which rare objects can come to possess incredible value. In 2020, the 1985 D quarter's value reached its peak. A particularly rare example, discovered in a private collection, sold for a staggering $270 million. This sale not only cemented the 1985 D quarter's place in numismatic history, but it also demonstrated the immense value that rare coins can hold. The coin's final sale price was a testament to the growing demand for unique and historically significant coins, as well as the way in which even the most unexpected errors can lead to extraordinary wealth. So why did the 1985 D quarter become worth $270 million? In part, it was the rarity of the misalignment, the fact that it was a unique error in the minting process that few people had ever seen. In part, it was the story of the coin itself, how it went unnoticed for so long, how it was discovered, and how its value grew over time. And in part, it was the passion of coin collectors and investors, who were willing to pay extraordinary amounts for a piece of history that few others could claim to possess. As the years go on, the 1985 D quarter will continue to be one of the most sought-after coins in the world. Whether or not its value will ever reach such dizzying heights again is uncertain, but one thing is for sure, the 1985 D quarter will remain a symbol of the unpredictable and fascinating world of numismatics, where even the smallest of errors can lead to the most unexpected treasures. Its story serves as a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable things are not the ones we seek, but the ones that we overlook, waiting quietly in the background, ready to be discovered.